I'm actually kind of scared to make this video. Today, we are diving into something that might get me cancelled, but it needs to be talked about. What if I told you that the biggest revolution in digital media wasn't TikTok, it wasn't streaming, and it wasn't even AI, but rather a 25-year-old guy from North Carolina who figured out how to hack human psychology for views? From illegal lotteries to exploiting people in need, his team are desperately trying to keep this dark side hidden. Now, that may sound extreme, but I promise that you will be shocked at what I uncover in this video. Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, is the biggest creator on the YouTube platform. With over 300 million subscribers, he's become synonymous with YouTube itself, and he single-handedly changed the platform into what it is today. But here's the thing, everyone has a dark side, but some are more evil than others. There's a lot hidden behind the MrBeast persona that a lot of you aren't aware of. But before we dive into all that, we need to understand how we got here. Because trust me, it matters more than you think. In 2013, a 13-year-old Jimmy creates his YouTube account, calling it MrBeast 6000. He started like most creators, making Minecraft videos in his bedroom. His early content was, well, pretty interesting. But what set him apart wasn't his talent, it was his obsession with the algorithm. For the next 4 years, Jimmy would upload consistently, experimenting with different types of videos. He said in an interview that he would literally study YouTube for hours every day. He was obsessed with it, and his mom thought he was crazy.
Basically what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. 3 of us were college dropouts, 1 was a high school dropout, and 1, I don't know, he just like quit his job. We all were super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral.
But here's where it gets interesting. Whilst other creators were just throwing content at the wall and seeing what sticks, Jimmy was treating YouTube like a science experiment.
We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again. We'd do things like take 1,000 thumbnails and see if like there's a correlation to the brightness of the thumbnail to how many views it got.
Counting words in titles, testing thumbnails, analyzing watch time. This wasn't just some kid making videos, this was a calculated domination of a platform. Then came the video that changed everything. In 2017, Jimmy spent 44 hours counting to 100,000 for a video. If that doesn't demonstrate the length that he will go to go viral, then I don't know what will. It sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous, but it worked. Finally, after years of experimenting, he gets a hit. The video exploded. Not because it was good content. By traditional standards, it was terrible. But it worked because Jimmy had discovered something crucial about YouTube's algorithm. Unusual concepts drove clicks. And these unusual challenges did well for his channel, so he continued doing these torturous videos. Until one day, at the end of 2017, he gets his first brand partnership. The brand offered him $5,000 to be featured in his next video. Now, any normal person would have just immediately taken that big sum of money, but Jimmy was different. He wanted more. After years of studying YouTube like a cold-blooded mathematician, he knew that if he had a big sum of money, it could open up the potential to get a viral video. But he felt like $5,000 wasn't enough. So he went back to the brand and he said this.
I was offered $5,000 for a video, but this was when I was like 19. I was like, double it, and I'll walk outside and I'll give it to a homeless person. And they're like, no, you won't. And I was like, double it. And I was like pacing around my neighborhood for 3 hours convincing this guy, like on the phone, just double the money. I promise the video will go viral and I'll give it to a homeless person. I was like, $10,000 just looks better in a title. It'll get more views. I promise your app will do better.
And he was right. That video, as well as the concept, did go viral. This charitable approach suddenly became the core to MrBeast's channel, centering every video around philanthropy. I will be referring to the word philanthropy a lot because it is the most accurate description of his content. Philanthropy refers to charitable acts or other good works that helps others or society as a whole. He's continuously building on revenues from these advertising and sponsorships so that he can actually be able to create these giant, huge giveaways. He's cracked the code, using philanthropy as a virality generator. But is this morally right?
Now be like shocked, like have your hands over your face, like you're
emotional as you can be. So like, have your hand reaching for it and then like be like shocked, like you're, yeah. Here, you hand him the money and let me get a shot. Spread out the money as much as you can. Act a little surprised. Like, be like really shocked with your mouth open.
Subscribe to MrBeast.
We'll discuss that later. His rise in success came fast, faster than anyone expected. And this is where a lot of YouTubers would just stay in their lanes and ride with what works. But Jimmy was determined to keep improving, and he didn't just improve, he became the face of YouTube. This isn't just one channel's success story, this is the transformation of an entire medium. MrBeast single-handedly changed the way that people make YouTube videos. But success at this scale comes with questions, important ones. What happens when content becomes more than content? When it becomes an industry? When it becomes a machine? And most importantly, what is that doing to us? And that is where our real story begins. Let's talk about human psychology and how MrBeast mastered it in ways that should make us all feel a little uncomfortable. Let's take a quick look back at how YouTube was in the year 2015. One of my favorite creators at the time was Zoella, who was most known for her beauty videos and vlogs. The videos were slow-paced and very easy to watch. This was the same for majority of the creators in that time. Even in the challenge and comedy videos, the stakes were low. But in today's YouTube world, things are very different. Top content is unbearably overstimulating and fast-paced. The production value of a video is more like a TV show, and it honestly just feels like borderline brainwashing. It's killing the attention span of young kids everywhere. This drastic change in content creation can be traced back to one person. Say it with me now, guys. MrBeast. This is what we call the beastification of YouTube. So how did he manage to change the way that people create videos? Like we discussed before, Jimmy has a disturbing hyper-obsession with YouTube. He studied YouTube like others would study for college. For years, Jimmy and a small group of friends dove deep into what makes a successful video. Through this study, they came to the realization that YouTube is an ad-supported business. Their whole business model relies on people spending time on the platform. The algorithm is essentially based on retention. Subscriber count does not matter. Likes and comments does not matter. Only watch time does. Jimmy knew that if retention means success, then boredom kills it, especially within the first minute of a video. The greatest YouTuber of all time will be the one with the highest retention, and he wanted to be the greatest YouTuber of all time. So he came up with a way to get people hooked. And when I say people, I mean children. Let's talk about dopamine, that feel-good chemical that your brain releases when you experience something rewarding. Scientists have found that certain types of content can trigger dopamine releases similar to gambling, social media likes, gaming achievements, and fast food. Let's take a look at the way that MrBeast structures his videos. I'm gonna use his video, Survive 100 Days Trapped, Win $500,000 for an example. Within the first 9 seconds, you have an immediate hook.
I just built this bunker, and these two people who have never met each other are going to attempt to live down here for the next 100 days.
Then, within the next 6 seconds, you get the first introduction and reaction.
Take your blindfolds off. Hugo, this is Rain. Rain, this is Hugo.
Nice to meet you.
This is our first time ever meeting.
Then, the next 10 seconds hooks you again with the stakes.
Over here is your $500,000.
Dude, it's real.
Well, it better be.
If both of you stay in here for 100 days, you keep it. But if one of you leaves, you both get nothing.
We are not leaving.
You've been spoon-fed everything you need to know within the first 30 seconds of the video. And as a viewer, you subconsciously want to know what happens, whether they win the money or not. But remember, retention is key. So how does he keep people watching past the first 30 seconds? Well, it's mostly in the editing. And this particular style of editing is called the MrBeast effect. Every video is engineered like a dopamine hit. Rapid cuts every 2 to 3 seconds. Constant movement. Never letting your brain rest even for a moment. Let's take a deeper look. Within the first 30 seconds of this video, there is a total of 20 cuts. 20. Studies show that Gen Z's attention span for digital content is around 8 seconds. But here's where it gets interesting. MrBeast videos are engineered to never even require that much focus. Another thing he does to keep retention is implement higher stakes throughout the video. 3 minutes into the video, he says this.
A 1 minute timer. Hey Chandler, do the thing. As you'll see, the timer is now counting down. If you let that timer ever hit 0, your money will instantly be engulfed in flames. Put your hands on those scanners. And there you go, the timer stopped.
This ups the ante and keeps the viewers entertained. The promise of a bigger reward just around the corner. And this happens multiple times throughout his videos. He will come in with a major plot twist that ups the stakes. This creates what psychologists call a variable reward schedule. It's the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. Unpredictable rewards, escalating stakes, constant simulation, and the promise of a bigger payoff. At the 7-minute mark, he says that he will add $50,000 to the prize pool. But the catch is that there would be no noise when the alarm went off every day. At the 15-minute mark, he comes in and says that for every second that they take off the timer, he will add $5,000 to the prize pool. And so on, all the way throughout the video. So you have a visual change every 1 to 2 seconds, as well as a major plot twist every 3 to 5 minutes. That already is overstimulating enough, but there is also the emotional beats that he uses. Every video has multiple moments of emotional storyline. We've seen this in media throughout the years. The first one that comes to mind is reality shows like Britain's Got Talent. There would always be someone that would come on and they'd have this emotional backstory and it's so sad, but then they start singing and they're amazing, and then one of the judges leaps out of his seat to press the golden buzzer. Everyone is crying and it's just a heartfelt moment. Yeah, MrBeast makes sure that he gets those emotional moments in his videos.
I've got a son who's got pretty significant special needs.
I have no health insurance.
I also have an autistic nonverbal daughter who will be 7 at the end of the month.
But they're so fast-paced that it immediately moves on to the next thing. Your brain doesn't get a moment to process it and overcome it.
I just want to give all my money away to everybody.
It's time to see who you collectively think should go home.
Who was it?
61.
That's me. She's a troublemaker. You know what? So long. Goodbye.
He tries to hit every emotion that he can in 30 minutes, and as a viewer, this is not healthy. Our brains are not wired to witness this much emotional change so quickly. So, he has a brain rot formula that keeps people engaged and watching. But how does he get people to click on the video in the first place? You're scrolling through YouTube and a MrBeast thumbnail appears. Bright colors, a stupidly shocked facial expression, massive text promising something impossible. Before you even realize it, you've clicked. We've all been drawn in and watched a MrBeast video. And if you haven't, then stop lying because you definitely have. But why did we click? Well, there's actually a few reasons for this. The first being what's called the novelty effect. Take one of his video titles for example. I put 100 million Orbeez in my friend's backyard. The novelty effect is all about presenting something unique and out of the ordinary that viewers can't resist clicking to learn more. Our brains are wired to seek out new experiences, and MrBeast knows how to crack that craving. Next is contrast. $1 versus $1 million hotel room. MrBeast often pits two extremes against each other in his titles. It creates a mental image that sparks curiosity. Our brains are naturally drawn to large contrasts. And then you have morbid curiosity. You'll see him do lots of videos along the lines of surviving 24 hours straight in the Bermuda Triangle. Human psychology has a fascination with danger. Morbid curiosity explains our attraction to disturbing and frightening situations. So it's a pretty common thing on YouTube that if your video's not doing so well, then you should maybe tweak a few bits on your thumbnail to see if that gets a few more clicks. But no one does this to the level that MrBeast does it. People have noticed just how absurd his thumbnail changing habits are, with some people reporting reporting that they've seen him change single video thumbnails 20 times within the first 24 hours. As extreme as his behaviors may be, they definitely work. With the rise of iPad kids taking over as the majority of YouTube consumers, this type of brain rot overstimulation style content is like crack to them. Consuming this type of content will lead to decreased attention spans, increased dopamine intolerance, and addiction-like behavior patterns. But this style has sadly become the new norm, and I fear that there is no going back from here. MrBeast averages over 100 million views every single video, making his style of content the most popular. The success of this format has essentially forced other creators to adapt or fall off. YouTube's algorithm favors this type of content. In 2023, an anonymous YouTuber spoke out about this topic, and he was quoted saying, "Either you edit like MrBeast or the algorithm buries you." What happens when an entire generation grows up on content engineered to exploit their attention? This is just the tip of the iceberg, because when you combine this with money and influence, that's when things get really concerning. And that brings us to perhaps the most troubling aspect of MrBeast's empire. Let's talk numbers. MrBeast makes an estimated $3 million a month from YouTube alone. Add in his business ventures, MrBeast Burger, Feastables, merchandise, and we're looking at $1 billion company. Since day one, Jimmy has stated that he has reinvested everything that he has made from YouTube back into his content. However, something has recently come out about MrBeast that has made me question everything. Rosanna Pansino is a YouTuber that's been preying on MrBeast's downfall ever since she appeared in one of his challenge videos, Extreme $1 Million Hide and Seek, which she managed to end up coming in 3rd place. But when the video actually came out, she realized that she was edited in a way to make it seem like she got out way sooner than she did. And the top 3 in the video was shown to be bigger YouTubers, Logan Paul, Lorray, and Zach King. She claims that they were out long before her, with other contenders backing her claims. Since then, she's been an advocate for people wanting to speak out against MrBeast, so I credit her for all the information I'm about to share. A lot of people may not know this, but MrBeast has a bad gambling addiction. Usually I would say, hey, you shouldn't put someone's addiction on blast, but you will see why I am in a second. He has quite openly spoken out about his addiction, one of the first times being on an episode of Impulsive when he was just 20 years old.
I used to gamble a lot.
Really?
Fun times, yeah.
You're not even 20. Yeah, you're not even...
Don't ask that question. But
Now, the reason that he has that reaction is because it's actually illegal to gamble in North Carolina if you're under 21, which he is. So it's kind of crazy that they kept that in the episode. He has done so many videos spending ridiculous amounts of money on lottery tickets. This is a little bit iffy because his target demographic is children, but maybe these are just old videos, you know? Maybe he's changed. But no, he's gotten worse. He literally shows his viewers step by step how to do it. Showing a child audience how to gamble on scratch tickets is interesting, but it doesn't stop there. Here he is again on Impulsive talking about how he has a gambling problem.
You're not a degenerate like myself.
when it comes to gambling, yes, but
Which, by the way, that surprised me.
yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, you're very smart with your money.
The guy who just throws away millions of dollars on YouTube videos is a gambler. Who would have thought?
And then allegedly, he partakes in illegal crypto gambling, which was leaked in a recent video. His team are trying desperately hard to get it removed. He's always claimed that he gives away his money and also puts it back into his videos, never taking money for himself. But in Rosanna's recent video, she and an ex-employee of MrBeast, known as Dogpack, bring up Jimmy's crypto account. They show that in April 2021, his account was worth $10 million, which is a lot of money for someone who allegedly doesn't take any money for himself. MrBeast has been involved in a lot of crypto stuff, but I am not the right person to talk about it since I know nothing about crypto, so definitely watch Rosanna's video to learn more. So why does his gambling addiction matter? Well, it matters more than you might realize. His love for gambling is not only kept in his personal life, he uses it in almost every every one of his videos, as well as his real life challenges and giveaways. And keep in mind, his audience are children. We talked before about how he implements the variable reward schedule in his videos that has the same principle as slot machines. That already, for young brains, can breed the need for gambling in everyday life. And I know that sounds extreme, and I know that other media uses this type of gambling structure in their content, so why is MrBeast so dangerous? Here's why. He uses a technique that targets 3 major types of behavioral learning. Step 1 is to get the viewer to see MrBeast as a trusted authority. Jimmy has always been very vocal about how he never fakes his videos and how he uses real people. He's always trying to build trust with his audience in a real down-to-earth way. But stick around because I will be showing how his real videos are actually just a bunch of lies. Step 2, he constantly shows the viewers that when they interact and support MrBeast, they can get some pretty huge rewards.
Is he subscribed? You are subscribed. Here's some money. Have a good day.
Some of them feel like I just walk around with $1,000. It's like, oh, thanks for watching my videos.
Hit that subscribe button because you might bump into me in real life and it might make you a lot of money.
Basically setting the example that if you're loyal to MrBeast, then you will benefit greatly from it. And what kid wouldn't want that? Step 3 is that he calls on his viewers to do something for him in the promise of a potential reward. You can see this in a lot of his comments where he will say things like for a car or like for a big sum of money. His viewers are constantly shown that dedicated followers just like themselves have the chance to win big just by being a supporter. But thanks to a recent ex-employee, Dogpack, who recently did a video exposing MrBeast, we can see the majority of these giveaways are just given to his employees, friends, and families. And it just keeps getting worse because throughout the years, MrBeast has been kind of known for doing these sweepstakes on his channel. But there's been lots of speculation as to whether these giveaways are actually legal. I'm gonna explain them to you and then I'll let you be the judge of that because I don't want to get sued. MrBeast has a chocolate bar company called Feastables. Just like Willy Wonka, he decided to promote his brand, he would put golden tickets inside these chocolate bars for the chance to win $100,000. Now, we see YouTubers do this type of thing all the time, so again, what makes MrBeast different? It comes down to the special exception that casino companies use all the time, which is making a difference between a sweepstake and a lottery. He promotes them like they are sweepstakes, which are legal. A sweepstake is a free promotion where a prize is rewarded on the basis of chance. A lottery is a promotion that involves 3 things: prize, chance, and consideration. Let me break down the difference. Firstly being the prize. Usually in a sweepstake, the prize is something small like a bike. But in a lottery, the prize is usually a big sum of money. And then we have the chance. This means winning depending on luck and not skill, such as randomly drawing names from a hat, which both sweepstakes and lotteries have. But the big difference is in the consideration. A sweepstake is free to enter, whereas a lottery requires money to play. Here's the big rule. If something has all 3, prize, chance, and consideration, then it's considered a lottery, and legally, you can't do it unless you have a license. So what does MrBeast do? He's not explicitly saying, give me $5 and you enter this contest, but a Feastables bar costs money. To enter his contest, you have to purchase something, which is participating in consideration. He allegedly has all 3, and this is just blatantly taking advantage of kids who don't know any better than to participate in a gambling-based contest. And it's not only the contest that's bad. In the video, he's promoting Feastables as a healthier alternative to Hershey's, saying that they only use 4 organic ingredients. But what they haven't announced since that video is that they completely remade their chocolate, making it cheaper to produce. They removed all organic ingredients and replaced the cacao butter with soy lecithin. They also bumped up the sugar levels, making it extremely sweet, and it now has more calories than Hershey's. So it's no longer this healthier alternative. He can't keep getting away with this stuff. But back to the illegal lotteries that he's promoting to children, because if you thought that was a one-off, then you are sadly mistaken.
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this. in 10 minutes, right? Because we gotta give them time to do their cart. We'll give 2 orders $500 each. 5 minutes, someone's getting $3 grand in their order.
And this was a 6-hour live stream. And not only that, but if you purchase something, you would also get the chance to be in one of his new videos. And what kid wouldn't want that?
And we're gonna have 24 people. We're gonna put them in 24 different circles. $1 million on the line, have some fun, you know what I'm saying?
But apparently, this video never happened. There is no video about 24 people in a circle competing for $1 million. Unless he's talking about the video where 100 people compete in a circle for $500,000, but that is significantly less money. So yeah, promising a reward if people purchase something and then just not doing it is really not okay. It also seems that a lot of people who actually win prizes don't end up receiving them. You can see some commenters say, hey, I won a PS4 in the last video through comments, but I've never been contacted by MrBeast or his team. As well as this poor guy who's still tweeting years after he won a MacBook Pro in one of MrBeast's live streams. But due to the lack of communication, he was never contacted on how to collect it. So yes, having a gambling addiction is one thing, but another is when you brainwash your audience to follow your every move and then you promote those gambling habits to them. It just shouldn't be allowed. But what if I told you that this isn't even the worst part of what MrBeast is doing? There's something a lot darker going on that people are scared to talk about. But today, I will be the person to come forward and talk about it. And please just hear me out, okay? A blind person receives his sight. A homeless person gets a house. A student's loans are paid off. Captured in 4K from multiple angles. Their tears are real and their gratitude is genuine. The impact on their lives is undeniable. But is doing good deeds for your own selfish gain morally right? This is the paradox at the heart of philanthropic content, real help delivered through entertainment. It all kicked off in 2017 when Jimmy did his giving $10,000 away to homeless people video. This act laid the foundation for what would become an entirely new model of digital philanthropy. At first, Jimmy's giving was pretty basic, hooking up family and friends with new cars and surprising delivery drivers with massive tips. But over time, his efforts evolved into something much bigger. There are 2 different types of philanthropic formulas that he uses. First being the selfless giving formula. Majority of his videos feature low-income people who are desperate for money and help. So this brings up the question of whether the people in his videos truly agree to be a part of them. Since his whole approach is about catching real surprise reactions, the people he helps probably don't know who MrBeast is or what it means to be in a viral video. Even if people do agree to be in these videos, there are concerns about how they're shown. The people receiving help have no power or control over the video. This power imbalance can be dangerous. They're just here to receive MrBeast's generosity and then show extreme thankfulness. They likely have no say in how their story is told in the final video. It also brings up the question of, can someone really consent if they're in a vulnerable position? A lot of people desperately need money, but maybe they're not okay with being filmed. But being in the video is the only way of getting help. So there again, you have that power imbalance because you have people consenting to the help, but are they really consenting into being made into entertainment? When you have that uneven playing field, is it really consent? Is what he's doing good? Of course it is. But the way MrBeast uses charity is different to other charitable acts. Usually when someone gives to charity, they have the power because they are choosing who to give help to. But when that person also has control to how that story is told to millions and millions of people, they have even more power. For example, MrBeast can choose how he presents the problems that he's trying to fix, like presenting blindness and deafness as conditions that just need a quick fix. His videos make it look like being poor is just about not having enough money or lacking specific things like a car. This simplification ignores the complex reasons in why someone might be struggling. For example, a lot of the times that someone is poor, it's not just because they don't have enough money. They can also have problems with education, healthcare, job opportunities, and discrimination. However, MrBeast almost has to present things in a certain way because that's how YouTube works. Videos need to be entertaining and show clear results. It's much much harder to make an engaging video about long-term solutions or complicated social changes. Now, this takes me to his second philanthropic format, which are his challenge videos. He will often find vulnerable and disadvantaged people in need of money and get them to compete in challenge videos for a cash prize. And of course, this is all for our entertainment. Gosh, how dystopian does it sound when you say it like that? It's like we're the real life capital watching MrBeast put on the Hunger Games. Oh my god, he is literally President Snow. These videos are along the lines of 100 days trapped and win $500,000, survive 100 days in a circle and win $500,000. Does this give psychological experiment vibes or what? 100 boys versus 100 girls for $500,000. Every country fights for $250,000. He picks people who often have emotional backstories for why they need the money. He uses these for entertainment purposes. And you may be thinking, hey, they're the ones that wanted to be in the video in the first place. But, and I think this is so important, when someone is struggling financially, offering them the chance at life-changing money can create a situation where they might feel like they can't say no. Imagine being behind on rent or unable to afford medical care. Would you feel like you could refuse the chance at $10,000, even if it meant potentially being filmed in embarrassing situations? And that raises a fundamental question about consent. Philosophers often discuss the concept of coercion by circumstance, when someone's difficult situation forces them to accept something they wouldn't normally agree to. Not only is all of this questionable enough, but recently it has just came out that apparently MrBeast uses CGI to exaggerate his charity videos. One of the most significant being his video where he builds a hospital in Nepal, in what was marketed as one of his most ambitious charitable videos yet. MrBeast released a video where he claimed to build an entire hospital on the top of a mountain in Nepal. The narrative presented to millions of viewers was compelling. A remote area would finally receive vital medical care through the efforts of MrBeast. The video showcased dramatic before and after footage, showing a complete transformation from a decrepit structure to a modern medical facility. Investigations from Rosanna and Dogpack, as well as testimonies from local residents, paint a very different picture. Rather than constructing a hospital from the ground up, MrBeast's actual contribution only goes as far as installing solar panels on an existing facility. I actually can't believe that. The hospital itself had actually been built by the Nepali government long before MrBeast's involvement. But what's most troubling is the revelations about video manipulation. Dogpack's video revealed that the before footage appears to have been digitally altered to exaggerate the building's prior condition. By comparing original photographs with the footage shown in MrBeast's video, they identified clear discrepancies that made the initial state of the hospital appear far more ruined than it actually was. The discrepancy between presentation and reality raises huge ethical concerns about how genuine MrBeast's charitable acts actually are. The misrepresentation becomes even more problematic when you consider the cultural implications. By downplaying or ignoring the Nepali government's role in rebuilding the hospital, the video feeds into a problematic narrative that often plagues Western charitable efforts in developing nations. It suggests that progress only arrives through external intervention, diminishing the agency and capabilities of local communities and their governments. But this type of behavior doesn't just affect the people in his videos, it also affects us. We started this journey looking at one creator, but what we've discovered is something far more significant. Something that reaches beyond YouTube, beyond social media, beyond the digital age itself. In my opinion, MrBeast is pretty poisonous to kids. He's even come out with a new product called Lunchly, which your child can eat whilst being brainwashed by his content. Lunchly is a collaboration with KSI and Logan Paul's product, Prime Hydration. Their pre-packed Lunchly boxes will come come with a bottle of Prime, a Feastables chocolate bar, along with either Fiesta Nachos, the pizza, or Turkey Stack'ems. It's clear to see that they're competing directly against Lunchables whilst trying to claim that they're the healthier alternative. If you look on their website, there's literally a whole section called Us versus Them, which compares the ingredients between them. They're said to have less calories and sugar overall. But remember what I said earlier about how MrBeast changed his chocolate ingredients to make them more unhealthy? Well, they're being even more deceiving with Lunchly, because although their claims about having fewer calories, less fat, and less sugar are true, however, what they don't tell you is the difference in serving sizes, which affects the nutritional values. Lunchly contains 72 grams of food in total, a whole 10 grams less than Lunchables. Despite the 10 grams difference, Lunchly only has 2 grams less fat compared to Lunchables. But again, this is targeted towards children who don't know any better. It's intentionally misleading and it's wrong. Also, I'm so sorry about the lighting in this video. It's coming into winter in the UK and the sun is setting way too early for me, so I apologize. One of the most concerning things about MrBeast, in my opinion, is the way he edits, because it begs the question, will editing ever go back to the way it was? Or has MrBeast ruined attention spans so much that it can only get worse from here? I think the only way we can save ourselves and save future generations from this beastification overstimulation is to stop shoving iPads in their faces. People don't allow themselves or their children to be bored anymore. People wonder why they have their most creative thoughts in the shower or right before they go to sleep, and it's because your brain actually has a moment to think for itself. As for MrBeast's philanthropy videos, I think the path forward requires change. Although they're doing an amazing thing, and I do think it's an amazing thing, don't get me wrong, content creators should prioritize accurate representations in their charitable videos. Platforms should develop and enforce standards for charitable content which promote transparency and accountability. Viewers too, we have to approach content with skepticism. That doesn't mean assuming bad faith, rather seeking verification, especially for major claims. Yes, he does amazing things, but is making a spectacle out of poor and disadvantaged people morally right? He does help them, but can they fully consent? My consensus, I think two things can be true at the same time. And that is all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you like this longer style of video. It took me a while to do, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Let me know if you have different opinions. I would love to hear you out in the comments. And please subscribe if you like this video. It helps me out more than you know. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Oh my goodness, it is so dark.